Welcome to Semcast at Concordia Seminary, St. Louis. I'm Dale Meyer. We have with us today Mr. Richard Robertson, the new president of LCEF, and I'm glad to welcome you, Richard?
Rich, please.
Okay, we're glad
Nice
to have you here.
You bet.
And I threw those initials out, LCEF. What do they stand for?
Well, the words themselves are Lutheran Church Extension Fund. Now, I bet that's real clear for you. Is that right?
Well, yeah, in my experience, church people talk in a jargon that no real person can understand. So yeah, please, what does that mean?
Well, first of all, I have to help you understand that I'm really president for a day. I became president of LCEF just yesterday. So even some of this jargon is new to me, I want you to know.
How's it been so far?
It's actually been nothing short of terrific, and I've been anxious to be part of this. But what we do at LCEF is really, we're servant partners. We want to provide funds today and in the future for our beloved church. So we do a lot of things with investors, as we do also with borrowers, as we do also with rostered church workers. So there's a full gamut, if you would, of activity that we participate in to support the church financially.
Let me try and understand this, because I'm slow. And in the short time we've gotten to know each other, you know I'm slow. Are you like a savings and loan?
Well, a lot of people have made reference to us as kind of a banking type institution. Mm-hmm. But I would tell you that we're well beyond that. While we have some likenesses in some of the products that we offer, like a steward account that you may have heard something about, which is similar to a money market account, if you would. But those are just likenesses, if you would, to a financial institution.
Okay, now you mentioned steward account. I have one. Okay.
I know.
And you know that I just pulled some money out to make my tax payment. Okay, and so this is like a money market.
Similar.
But what the savings.
But let me tell you what the difference is. You see, if you talk money market, what you're talking about is a for-profit organization. You're talking about a bank that has got shareholders that ultimately are looking for profits. Mm-hmm. So what they do in terms of rewarding you as a participant within the bank is very different than what we do. We're ministry focused. What we do with your funds is use those funds to foster opportunities for our church body.
Okay, no. This is not like derivatives that got us into trouble.
No.
So how many people are invested in steward accounts? That may be an unfair question.
You know, I think we have close to 4,000 or so actual steward accounts, but that's
your first day. It's an unfair question.
Don't quote me on that.
So those funds, you say, they go to serve the church.
Right.
How does it? I mean, what do they go to? Can you give me an example of where your assets are deployed for the benefit of congregations and entities in our Lutheran Church Missouri Synod?
Well, let me relate it to you. You turn out pastors, do you not?
Yeah.
And you do a wonderful job, by the way, I understand. And the facility that you have here in St. Louis is just remarkable. And what you do with it in the short time I've been here today has been great.
I hope Mom, I hope you're watching.
But let's use that as an example. Rostered church workers, ultimately, that's what a pastor becomes, right? Mm-hmm. So they're in need of loans, and we have a program that has the support for rostered church workers. So we're taking the money that you just talked about and reusing that money to support our church workers.
So an individual pastor, Lutheran school teacher, can, for example, get a loan for a mortgage?
That's exactly right. You are an absolute quick learner, you know that? That is great.
Mom.
So that's just one aspect. But
okay,
then the larger ones are certainly as we deal with congregations and the support of new ministries with congregations.
Talk about that.
I'll talk about my congregation. My congregation 11 years ago had decided to open up a school, St. Paul Lutheran School, Peachtree City, Georgia. Bought 13 acres of property, and on this 13-acre campus, we built a remarkable school that every day has 200 plus students that's walking through that place.
Wow.
And it wouldn't have happened. Trust me, it would not have happened if it were not for LCEF.
They made the loan.
They made the loan
to
possible.
St. Paul's, make it happen. And you do this also for the construction of churches?
Construction of churches, construction of schools. We work with our university system and helping them in
Well,
terms of other facilities.
The university system, let's explain. In the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, we have 2 seminaries, Concordia St. Louis and Concordia Fort Wayne, and then we have 10 colleges and universities that are in the Concordia University system. With a couple exceptions, if you ever see a school of higher education named Concordia, chances are very, very good it's the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. So you said you help the Concordia system?
We have very strong relationships throughout the Concordia system as they look to improve their ministry, to try to create other opportunities within their ministry. We're there, ready, willing, and able to support that organization.
What are your assets?
We have $1.8 billion fund that we have utilized to support the church.
1.8 billion, and that has grown a lot over the years.
There's no question. If we just go back 11 or 12 years ago, we were almost half that amount.
When did the LCEF start?
Actually, we're a 30-year, we've been brought together 30 years ago of individual extension funds that existed within the district structure that was in place.
The reason I'm smiling is I've been in the ministry 36 years, and back in the 70s I was on the board of the Southern Illinois District as first and second vice president and secretary. And I was on the board when we joined the new LCEF.
There you go.
Yeah, and that was wise leadership by our district president at that time, Dr. Alvin Coleman, and it's really been a blessing. So $1.8 billion. Are you competitive with the financial market?
We have to be. Certainly, we want to make sure that our investors feel like, one, they're utilizing the funds in the best interest of the church, but the second element also is to make sure we are competitive in the products that we offer that they invest into. So I can't quote you today the different rates, but all you got to do is go to lcef.org. You'll see everything there. In fact, there's even a picture of me on the front of it, I want you to know.
Oh, great. Boy, you're going to get a lot of hits. Well, I suppose in this day and age, the rates aren't out of sight because you have to be competitive, and that's the kind of world we're in.
But what if I were to tell you, though, that comment that you just made, you might be surprised if you look through some of our rates. For example, a money market account, right, that's giving the profits, if you would, to the shareholders of that bank, we're talking about today maybe 0.8% is what you're getting of a return. However, if you look at our steward account, and we would encourage you to do that, you're looking at over 2%. I think it's 2.25 or 2.50 is what our actual rate is that we're offering today. So you may find that in some of the opportunities that we offer, because of some of the efficiencies that we're able to put forth, that everybody wins. The church wins, and you win.
And that may be, I'm just theorizing, because you look at this as a mission, a ministry.
Correct.
And it's not just about gathering profits for the shareholders. We've gone through, as we all know, painfully, the Great Recession, and there was a lack of regulation in many ways that caused that, and various institutions had boards that were AWOL. How are you supervised?
Well, first of all, our board of directors is comprised, if you would, of members of our church body that are elected at different times throughout the year. We have a fall leadership conference that happens in the November timeframe, in which several members are elected for a 3-year term there. Or at convention, we also have elected officers that participate as our board members. So know that they're all a cross-section of very fine individuals with enormous talents in many different disciplines that help us and support us as we grow our organization and participate in the things that we do.
Well, it sounds like you as an organization and you as an individual know what you're doing, and that kind of competence is needed in the church and for the sake of the Savior's mission. So I know all of us here at Concordia Seminary appreciate it. Now, being a pastor, it's about people. So tell us about yourself. Were you born in Georgia?
Actually, I live in Georgia today with my wife and 3 children. I will be moving to St. Louis. I hear it's just a marvelous place to live, so I can't wait to move to this area in the not-too-distant future.
Are you a Brave fan?
Actually, we like the Braves, especially when they were winning the World Series.
Okay, but
Did they win the World Series?
when I grew up outside of Chicago, it was the Milwaukee Braves. And, you know, they're here today, gone tomorrow. But you come to St. Louis, you want to cheer for the St. Louis Browns. No, the Cardinals.
Oh, I'll start doing that, I promise. So I was actually raised in Europe. I lived there till I was 18, and my parents had an opportunity, a business opportunity my father had in Italy, and I was actually raised there. And I subsequently came to the United States to go to college.
Where'd you go to college?
The University of Massachusetts in Amherst. And graduated from there and started my career in the corporate America, and has held many different executive positions. But it's been great. It's been a great run, but I got to tell you, the most exciting is now to come, and that is being part of LCEF, the family of LCEF and the Missouri Synod Lutheran Church.
Tell me about your wife.
She's a pretty special lady. She and I have 3 absolutely wonderful children. And she's put up with me for 24 years, and I pray that there's at least 24 more in store for us.
But how many? You know, I mean, so she's had, out of those 24, how many happy years has she had?
You see, you're asking me a very difficult question now.
And your children?
I have a 21-year-old young man who's graduating from the University of Georgia this year. I've got a daughter who is graduating from high school this year, and unknown yet where she's going to end up and going to college. And then I have a 15-year-old young man that is in his sophomore year of high school.
How do they feel about the imminent move?
Actually, we've kind of worked through with all of them. The 2 that are leaving the nest, they're saying, great. As far as it has to do with the youngest, there's a bit of an issue there. But we're thankful we have this opportunity.
Well, St. Louis really is a great place, and it's the 16th largest metropolitan market in the United States. And being from Chicago, it's a manageable big city. Here, for example, within walking distance of the seminary, we have Forest Park, which is larger, safer, and I think better than Central Park in New York.
That's great.
Institutions, culture. It's an urban area, but it's a very manageable and livable area, and we look forward to welcoming you here to St. Louis.
Well, now that I know there's people like you here, well, gosh, this is just great.
You're good. You're good. Thanks, Rich.
Thank you. It's a pleasure meeting you.
And this is an open invitation. Anytime you want to come on a SEMcast and talk about what's happening at the LCEF, you just call me up and we'll get you down here, and we'll do it again just like this. Any new offerings, any new products, just an update, and we're glad to do this. So I thank you, Rich, for coming to us at SEMcast, and thanks to you for joining us. Having you joining us is as important as anything. You can keep up to date on all the latest news and developments, as well as other great resources, at the Concordia Seminary website, www.csl.edu. And we look forward to seeing you again on SEMcast.